Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome to the We All Juggle Knives channel and my review of the Condor Big Leaf Machete designed by Matt Graham. The machete comes with that leather sheath. It does not have a belt loop. Instead, it has what they call a belt tab, which is designed to hook over a waistband or belt to allow you to carry the machete. The steel on this is 1095. Now, Condor used to always use 1075, but this 1095 high carbon steel, which I do like better. This is a barong design, right, with the classic leaf-shaped blade, big leaf machete. Matt Graham was on the television program Live Free or Die, and I believe two other survival-oriented shows. I did watch the Live Free or Die episodes. He built a lot of shelters for sure. He built a lot of traps as well. That is what I remember. All right, got a flyby for you, a close-up. Micarta handle scales, 3 different lanyard holes or potential lanyard holes on this machete. I really like barong designs because they are known for their ability to pierce, slice, and chop, right? You got a very pointed tip, and then they are extra wide midway down the blade, providing a lot of belly. That would give you your slicing. And also, the flat of the blade is useful for many things. I've seen people mash up roots and cook them. Full tank construction there. And you can also see the thickness there, so it is not excessively thick, which is good. The blade length is 13.5 inches, right? It's a long blade, but it's not necessarily a heavy blade. It will not fatigue you. Okay, coming up, lots of usage footage. First off, clearing soft vegetation on the bush of machete testing. Yes, now I'm not trying to get rid of the entire bush, so I'm just going to cut around the edge of it just to give you a view of what this can do to soft vegetation. One of the primary uses of a machete. I love the sound that this makes as it slices through things. So not only can you do some yard work, trim your hedges, you can also terrify your neighbors. Now, just kidding. I'm actually good friends with my neighbor. She grew up on a farm. All right, so there's my little pile. In a very short period of time, you got a pile of clippings, head trimmings, so to speak. And if you need to blaze a trail through a jungle, for example, or soft vegetation, this will be really good at that. So that's one of the primary uses of a machete. This excels at that. I've got some batoning footage coming up, but first, a little bit of a disclaimer. I wouldn't really recommend this for like really tough, thick pieces of firewood because it is a thin blade and it's not a hatchet, right? So it could get stuck. So you'll see that the pieces of wood I'm using, they're of a moderate thickness, right? And it does well at that. This is the type of batoning that I would use to prepare a piece of wood for woodwork. In other words, you need a piece of wood to be a certain thickness, right? So you could baton it down to the exact dimensions you need, and then you can use that piece to be part of a trap, to be part of a shelter. So sizing pieces of wood, that's what I would use it for. And yeah, it can do that, but you got to use everything within its limitations. All right, next clip I have coming up, some yard work, chopping branches. These are going to be branches that fell down during the last storm we had, which had some high winds, right? In a survival situation, if you were building a shelter, again, you might have some branches that you need them to be a certain length, and you can use your machete for that. Now that particular branch, because we had several days of rain, that's an easy branch because it was a little bit rotten, but I have tougher branches coming up. That was merely the warm-up. Now, this does not have the top-heavy weight of a hatchet or an axe. So if you're chopping like really thick branches, you're going to have to use a lot more energy. Maybe not a lot more, but some more muscle power. You know what I mean? It's not as efficient as like a heavier item would be. And, you know, or you could use a saw as well. I'm not against that. But if this was all you had, if it was some sort of weird emergency, this is all you had, yeah, you could use it sort of like an axe or a hatchet. Now, Condor is a company that is actually owned by IMACASA, the famous machete company. And Condor has a very good reputation if you research around YouTube. In the text description box for this video, I'm going to list for you my top 20 Condor machetes and my top 20 Condor knives and other blades, right? So check out that list of links. And I will also list a budget section, because this is an expensive machete, so I want to include budget alternatives for you. So if you check out the text description box, there's going to be a list of IMACASAs as well as some South African machetes that are budget friendly. All right, so there you go. So just more yard work, chopping those things up. And as you saw, it does hit hard, but it doesn't hit as hard as a good hatchet or axe would. But it can do the job in a pinch, no doubt. All right, I sped this footage up because I don't want the video to be way too long. But this is just showing woodwork, carving. You can carve a spike. You can carve a tent peg. You can carve a wooden spear. If you imagine that piece of wood was like longer, you'd basically be carving a wooden spear, right? And you can finish it off with this sharp machete too. However, I would probably just use a knife. In fact, here's my Brissa Enzo knife that I have. This is a knife from Finland. When I carry a machete, I will always carry a small bushcraft knife with it because they're good at different things. They complement each other. So I don't think it's cheating to use that knife. But if I hadn't had the knife, I could have finished the little spike there, little vampire stake, with the machete. And again, this is just an example of woodwork. You don't have to carve a spike, but again, you could carve a certain length of wood with different notches in it as part of a trap, for example. So because a barong design is wide, it lends itself to some other uses. For example, you can hammer with it like so. Now, it's not my first choice as a hammer, but I just want to demonstrate part of the versatility. Now, this next task, I would recommend that you don't do this unless it's an emergency. You can dig with a machete like this because it is so wide. It's like almost like an entrenching tool. However, the danger is that there could be rocks. In fact, that was a big rock right there. You could mess up your edge, and then you would have to waste precious time trying to fix that up in the field, right? So I would only do this as a last resort if you cannot find like a piece of wood or something that's a good shape for digging. Then you could dig with this, right? And again, I just wanted to show that you could do that. One of the benefits of an extra wide blade. You could try to find water. You could dig for grubs and eat them up as protein. All right, I got a size comparison, a size and shape comparison. So we got the big leaf, the Condor barong. We've got their speed machete, their outback machete, and their Discord machete. Now, some of these are no longer available because I've had some of them for years, but in the text description box, there will be a list of currently available machetes. So as you see, this is around the same length, almost the same length as their barong machete. However, it's wider, and it's also just a lot nicer, just, the micarta handle scales, for example, right? But Condor makes some good stuff. This is only just part of my Condor collection that I've used for many years. So final thoughts on this big leaf. It's certainly very versatile. It can do a lot of things. I mean, a video can only be so long. So I haven't even really shown, I've only really touched the surface of what a machete can do. There's like 20 other things that you could easily choose to show, but some things are easier to show them than others. Like I don't live in a jungle area, right? So hard to demonstrate some like jungle stuff, but you get the idea. It's a versatile blade. The only thing I don't really like about it is the price. I mean, this is currently $115. That's pretty steep for a machete. But remember, Condor is owned by IMACASA. So IMACASA, they have a budget line. So this is kind of like their deluxe line. But if you can stomach the price, it is a great blade. I hope you enjoyed this video review. If you are not already subscribed, feel free to do so. Also check out the links. Those do help support the channel, and I really appreciate it. This has been We All Juggle Knives. I'm out.